Now, it has to feel good that Angela Yee's name is still coming up even after she left the Breakfast Club. I feel like this is the best revenge. Moving on, and people still wanting to know how you feel about your last employer. Angela sat down with Fox 5 to respond to the mess with Jess and Loren from the Breakfast Club drama last week. And one thing I liked about this was that Angela came dressed up. She got her suit on. Like, she's here to be taken seriously. She wasn't going to go live. I don't even think she addressed it on her show, to be honest with you. I watched the show the next day and I didn't see anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. But ultimately, she responded, I think, in the best way possible, in a classy way. And it just goes to show, like, this is how you move on from a show. Let's check it out.
Well, I would say this. When I initially left, they did say they were going to hire 2 people. So that was always the plan. So, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's communicated to anybody. I know Jess was out on maternity leave. And I know that's tough, too, coming back. I know she's expressed, you know, having a baby, postpartum, all of those things take a toll. And Loren works really hard. And Jess does, too. Like, she's on the road. And I think part of why they hired her was because of that. Like, she does comedy shows, she goes on the road. That adds a lot to the show.
Has a strong following.
Yeah. But I think a lot of times it is social media that tends to get people riled up. It's outside forces. It's not what's in the room, and that's what makes tension sometimes build. But what is good is when you can have a blow up and then work through it.
I like that Angela kept it neutral. She does say this a few times in her interview, that it was communicated to her that they wanted to hire someone, an additional host, even when she was there. And my only problem with that is in knowing when they were looking for a replacement for Angela, they did not specify that they were looking for 2 people. They only specified that they were looking for 1 person. Not only to the people that auditioned for the show, but they mentioned this to the audience. They never said there are 2 spots. They only said it was 1 spot, and they pretty much pit everyone that tried out for the show against each other. So I don't know if this is reliable, because we've all heard, if you're a fan of the Breakfast Club, you've heard it. You've heard that they were only looking for 1 more person. So it's just kind of weird to hear all of a sudden that there's this 4th person. I mean, she would know better than I would, but I also was on the receiving end of that information as well, and I know a lot of people were too. But she does mention having met Jess a little bit later.
Blaming Charlamagne and of course DJ Envy for not protecting her in that moment, but then she pointed back to you.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
She just said, I'm not crazy, and, you know, I knew that.
but what was she alluding to?
You know what? I saw her one time. We had, like, a women's event, and we didn't even have a chance. It was all the women at iHeart, so we haven't really had a chance to even break it down. I think she meant it more as a compliment, like, Angela is not crazy, because people thought I was crazy for leaving the show. Sometimes people think as the woman, you're the problem. And so when something like this happens, it's like, you know, she's not crazy. Like, people, who knows who said that, but.
Yeah, I thought she was alluding to the fact that maybe you went through something similar behind the scenes and you can relate, and hey, she's not crazy and I'm not either. That's how I took it.
I think all of us took it that way. We were just like, wait, how did Angela get involved in this?
Right.
And
Didn't they just say the same thing? This was... It irritated me the first time I saw it. Like, this, you guys said the same thing. Ultimately, Angela may have felt gaslit, which is what we saw Jess go through. And the reality is that if you were labeled the drama, if people thought that you were exaggerating things, too sensitive, felt like you were creating problems, you weren't. And that's what Jess meant by saying that, and that's what you guys were also saying too.
I don't know. I haven't even had a chance. We saw each other. We were doing like these little group sessions, and we were like, we'll talk later. And
I'm sure you guys will.
Then I left to go to Memphis.
Yeah, I hope that conversation happens because I think both women are equally talented in their own,
they
arena.
They bring something different to the table. I think Jess is hilarious, and then Loren is a journalist. So I think if they can figure out how to balance those things, and sometimes it's also the conversation of, okay, when do I jump in? Because I also think it's important before a break to sit down and be like, okay, this is what we're about to talk about. What's your point of view? What's your point of view?
We do that every day.
We do that every single day.
I don't know that they aren't doing that, but I think maybe that has to be something that's even more ingrained.
But then
I don't think they're doing that, and I think it would be interesting to ask Envy and Charlamagne to do that because they've been on the show for so long. But Angela was there the whole time, so she has more seniority, and they probably would respect it coming from her, knowing that she has a certain element that she brings to the show that they respect. I think that these two, because it's still kind of choppy between Loren and Jess. It's still a little adversarial in a way. It takes a while for them to warm up, especially Jess. Like, she's just not open. You can tell she's ready to go. Like today, when they reflected on her Club Shay Shay interview, there was a moment where Loren asked her a question and she was like, and then she softened up. And I'm noticing Jess is doing that a lot more. They need to break the ice before they go on camera. They need to talk so that their voices are warmed up and that the energy is flowing through the room. Just a random thought I was having. When we audition, a lot of times they tell us, especially if you're auditioning in pairs with someone that you don't know, you should talk to them while you're waiting for the audition so that when you get in the room, you have some familiarity to kind of like to leverage, to hold on to. So the more you smile and laugh and interact with that person, the likelihood you can bring that in the room, and they're looking to hire people who make things look natural. I think that they could benefit from going over what it is they're talking about, informing each other on what they're going to say so Jess doesn't feel like she's blindsided, and she can think about a response and or think about something funny to say. And Loren will have a much more easier transition, so when she brings something up, there isn't that hang time, because she'll say something and then Jess will be like, ask a question, confirm something, and then flow, and it's just better that way. I totally agree. And that's what the professionals do. I wanted to also ask a question, because this is so me, and it's in the same video with Tamar Braxton. So Tamar was on Sherri Shepard's show, and she had this to say, and I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were.
Your sister.
Indeed.
You blocked Toni.
Yeah.
Why you blocked her?
And about blocking her sisters on social media. Here's what she had to say.
You blocked your sister.
Indeed.
You blocked Toni.
Yeah.
Why you blocked
I
her?
block all my sisters all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
They work on my nerves to get blocked.
Okay. You know, one thing I love is your facial expressions, Tamar. It says more than the words you ever say. So did you unblock Toni?
She's unblocked for now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Toni, what kind of things do your sisters do when you say, when they get on my nerves, I block them?
I am the youngest, right? And so it's easy to target me because I'm the youngest, and people say I'm not the most outspoken. But the oldest sisters are very antagonistic.
True.
Well, I'm the youngest sister, I get it.
So I am a proponent of blocking anyone that causes you any issue, and that your siblings can get it. They most definitely can get it. The siblings, the parents, anytime you come over here and you assert yourself in a way that I feel like you're causing me any kind of issue, I'm going to block you. Absolutely. I won't announce it. I just will block you, and that's it. And then you may be unblocked at some point when things are cool. Again, there will be no announcement. But I think that you should block anybody that disturbs your peace. Absolutely. That I feel like anybody that is showing up to create any sort of issues or problems, anybody that's lurking, anyone that's disturbing your peace, you should definitely block them. I'm not surprised that Tamar is blocking everyone. I'm actually surprised that they're not blocking her. I think that was funny. Anyway, do you believe in blocking your siblings? Do you think that Angela said what we anticipated her to say? Do you even think that perhaps she might be doing just a little bit of PR just to help out the show? Seeing as it's been almost a week, why would we drag the show drama on anymore? Angela doesn't seem like a messy person to me. So perhaps she's just putting a nice little bow on it so that everyone can move on. She comes out as the victor. At the end of the day, it took 2 people to replace Angela Yee. So how could you be mad at that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.